On a cold spring morning in the year 1324, a girl named Eleanor woke to the sound of church bells. She was 12 years old, and today, though her body was still that of a child, she was to be married. Her mother pulled her from the straw mattress, smoothing her tangled hair with rough fingers. A heavy wool gown lay ready, embroidered not for beauty, but to display her family's worth. As the cloth was pulled over her head, Eleanor's small shoulders seemed to disappear inside the fabric. She whispered to herself, "I want to go home," though she was already home. The village was alive with chatter as she stepped outside. At 12, she should have been skipping through fields, chasing geese, or helping her mother stir the stew. Instead, her steps carried her toward a church door she did not want to enter. Inside, her groom waited. He was 19, broad-shouldered, with dirt still under his fingernails from the morning's plow. Eleanor had seen him only a handful of times. He was not cruel, but he was a stranger. And in the Middle Ages, strangers became husbands because marriage was not about love. It was about survival. Families needed land secured, debt settled, alliances built. Eleanor's father had struck the bargain. She was the price. The priest's words fell like iron. Obey your husband, bear his children, honor the church. Eleanor repeated the vows, her voice cracking, her eyes darting to her mother. Her mother looked away, perhaps remembering her own vows made when she was scarcely older. As the crowd cheered, Eleanor was led from the church, a child bride in a world where childhood ended the moment a veil touched your head. That night, in a bed of coarse sheets and shadows, she lay trembling. Her new husband reached for her, not with malice, but with expectation. The expectation that she would grow into her role as wife. But her body was not ready, her mind still clinging to the doll she had played with only months before. The days became weeks. Eleanor rose before dawn to grind grain, milk goats, mend clothes. Every task was heavy with duty, none with choice. Her husband demanded obedience. The church demanded piety. Her laughter faded, her spine bent under the weight of a life she had not chosen. And then came pregnancy. At 13, her belly swelled. The village praised her, saying she was fulfilling her purpose. But childbirth was no blessing in this world. It was a battlefield. Without medicine, without knowledge of hygiene, the odds were cruel. Many women died bringing life into the world, and many children never drew breath. Eleanor screamed through the night, gripping her mother's hand, her body tearing under the strain. Somehow, she survived. The baby survived, but she would bear the scars forever. By 15, she had buried 2 infants. Tiny graves marked with wooden crosses stood in the churchyard. Grief was not spoken of, it was expected. Eleanor's husband reminded her, "Try again. Try until a son lives. Try until the family name is secure." She nodded, because no answer existed. But yes, disease lurked in every corner of the Middle Ages. A cough could become death within days. Food spoiled. Water carried sickness. Eleanor's husband fell ill with fever one winter and nearly died, leaving her to work the fields alone. She was 15, a widow in waiting, with no say in her fate. If he had died, she would likely have been remarried to another stranger, perhaps older, perhaps crueler. Her life was not her own. By 16, she had learned to hold her tongue. A wife who argued could be beaten without consequence. A wife who strayed could be burned. But a husband's infidelity? It was ignored. Eleanor saw him with another woman, but she did not speak, for her safety depended on silence. And through it all, The church loomed. Divorce did not exist. Leaving was unthinkable. Marriage was forever, no matter the misery inside it. Eleanor's prayers at night grew hollow, whispered only out of fear. She did not ask for happiness anymore. She asked only for survival. By 18, Eleanor looked 40. Her skin weathered, her hands calloused, her back bent from labor. She had given birth 3 times, buried twice, and lived through fevers, famines, and nights of silent weeping. This was marriage in the Middle Ages.